Hi, I'm Mary Hood, and I'm here today to give you another little handful of Christmas hope. I got my hope cup today. I know it's probably backwards in the camera, but it says hope, and then it has Isaiah 40:31. Those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles. I got this cup 9 years ago when I started writing about hope. And I found it almost right away in a department store. And I was so excited about it because it was my verse. I wrote a song about birds, and it was my verse. So in this cup today, I don't have coffee. I know the last time I was with you, I had tea. Today, I have hot cocoa. And I'm going to put some marshmallows in it. And, you know, if I had a peppermint stick, that would make it Christmas. Just add peppermint stick, you've got Christmas. But you know, it's not really Christmas yet. They call it the Christmas season, I guess. I think Black Friday kicks that off. But seasons kind of overlap, don't they? We call something one season when it's really not done yet. It's really autumn. And by the way, the snow's all melted and my leaves are back on the ground and I can see them. Still not picking them up. I was up and down last night. I slept and then I didn't. Words kept interrupting my sleep. So I got up in the middle of the night a little bit and I had to write. That's what happens when you're a poet and when you're a writer. You have to write. No matter when it is, you have to write. Because if you don't, you might forget. And I've done a lot of forgetting in my life. But God gave me a lot to write and a lot to think about. And I didn't really plan on doing this so soon again, but had so much. I said, well, just a handful, God, just a handful. Come on. It's Christmas. Christmas is coming. It's such a handful, little bit. So I was thinking about words because I was writing words and because I use words all the time. We all use words. And I thought of Christmas and I went to John chapter 1. And in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. That's in the beginning. Which was back in Genesis 1. In the beginning, God created. That's the beginning of time. In the beginning. because, God has no beginning and no end. So that was in the beginning of time, God created. And in verse 14, I'm going to skip all the way down to verse 14. It says, "And the Word became flesh and dwelt among us." I'm sorry for this light in my eyes here, affecting the camera. The sun is playing games. "And the Word became flesh and dwelt among us, and we saw his glory, glory as of the only begotten of the Father, full of grace and truth." I thought of that verse about the Word. And I said that was Christmas. The Word became flesh. And I said, "Oh, flesh, my flesh, flesh." I thought of birth, and I thought how we are thrust into this world. There are contractions. When you give birth, you have a lot of pain. There's a lot of pain involved. And your body gives these contractions back and forth, ebb and flow, ebb and flow. And it comes to a point where you can't control them. And you have to do some pushing until that child is thrust from your womb. Jesus came into the world like that. God thrust him into the world. So I thought about that, and wow. And it says in Genesis that God created man out of the dust of the ground. And then God sent his son to be the dust of the ground. That's pretty serious, isn't it? I mean, when you think about it, I think it's pretty serious. But I was thinking about words, and I said, okay, the word, we use words all the time. What are our words supposed to do? What kind of words? I mean, we have opinions and we have preferences. And we have conversations and we talk about everything mundane. We talk about what we have to do and where we have to go, and they're just words. And I write a lot of poetry, and sometimes my poetry are just words on a page. But it's not what words you use, really. It's the purpose and intent behind your words that matter. And when Adam and Eve were given words, they had fellowship with God. God talked to them. He could have talked to them about, well, he talked to them about everything, didn't he? He talked to them probably, about the garden, about all the trees in it, the fruit in it. He told them how to walk every day. He fellowshipped with them. He just spoke to them in words, but it was open communication between them and him. There was no separation. So they could talk about anything freely, and they knew they were loved. Today, our words can really cut, can't they? They can cut. Because we don't think about the purpose and the intent behind them. We think about what we want. And Christmas time, it's interesting. I just looked at this before I started, and I didn't notice this before, but in the beginning, in Genesis, it says, "And God said, let there be light, and there was light. And God saw that the light was good, and God separated the light from darkness." So God said, God saw, and God separated. God separated himself God came in the flesh, but he was still in heaven. He separated himself and went into the darkness. He came into our realm, the darkness. He separated himself and thrust himself into the darkness. That's Christmas. I have to take a sip of this because it's hot cocoa. I don't want it to be cold cocoa. You know, the cocoa I used is not this year's cocoa. I had it on my shelf. I found it on my shelf. It's a packet. You know, at Christmas time, I make hot cocoa on the stove using milk and real cocoa, the stuff in the can, the real cocoa. And the marshmallows I used, they're kind of old. I think I bought them in the summer. I'm going to buy new ones for Christmas. I'll buy new ones because Christmas is new. I don't want an old, ordinary Christmas. I don't want the same story. Oh, this is the same story. Christ was born in a manger. Let's give him a day. Oh no, let's give him an hour and then open presents. In fact, let's give him Christmas Eve and then go home and spend the day opening presents and eating what we love and all the old things that we've had every single year. Let's keep the tradition, okay? Let's keep the tradition. I don't want to do that this year. Can we see something different this year in the words that Jesus said and that God used? And can we fellowship using ordinary words that God gave us, because he just gave us ordinary conversations? But can we add the intent and purpose and honor? You know, I was thinking about Scrooge. Saw a movie about Scrooge the other day. It wasn't A Christmas Carol, it was another movie, but we do watch it almost every year. We watch A Christmas Carol, you know, Scrooge. He hated Christmas, bah humbug. But he was visited by 3 ghosts. Christmas past, Christmas present, Christmas future. There's a trinity. You think Scrooge knew anything about it? You think Dickens knew anything about a trinity? And in the end, you know, when he realized what Christmas was going to be for him, he said, I will honor Christmas in my heart all year round. And he made a vow. Now, did he keep it? I don't know. It was a story. That was the end of the story. Don't you love stories? There's purpose and intent behind a story, whether it's fiction or nonfiction or poetry. They're just words. Or whether it's a video. It's the intents of your heart. God knows the intents of your heart hidden behind your words. I guess that's my handful today. Christmas hope. It's still autumn. But we're getting ready for Christmas. You have a great day. Have a cup of cocoa. Bye-bye.